favorite. Today, let's talk about stupid shit GM did. Part 4.
Absolutely awesome video. Go watch it. Go watch that whole video that the guy did. That's probably one of the best teaching examples that I could not have done it better myself. I absolutely couldn't. Great video. Go watch that whole video, then watch the rest of this video, or just watch the rest of the video, go back, figure it out, stuff Quentin Tarantino style. Anyway, whatever. So, let's understand this. Why did Hank do that? Henry. Why did Henry Ford do that? He did that because he knew for a fact the banks did not have that kind of gold. They just didn't. Keep in mind that banks back then were constantly lending out way more money than they had gold. In other words, they were counterfeiting. Because remember, the gold standard existed in 1908. In fact, it existed all the way up to about 1913. December 23rd, if you want to be specific. If you were to go back then and realize, if you went to the banks and said, hey, produce all this gold, right? The banks would have said, there's no way we can do that. We have lent out way more dollars. Because remember, the dollar was supposed to be backed by gold. In fact, $1 was 1/20th of 1 troy ounce of gold. So what Henry was doing was trying to get the banks to cough it up and say, yeah, let's do this. Let's find out where the banking system actually is, because it was him who said in a famous quote, if you look it up, I'm going to butcher it, but it's something to the effect of, it's well enough that the people of this nation don't understand our financial or monetary system, because if they did, there would be a revolution by tomorrow morning. I think I got that right, but it's really close to that kind of quote, and that's what he was talking about. What Ford was doing was he was pointing out the impossibility of what this looks like. Particularly this guy Durant. Where did Durant get all this money from to buy all of these car companies up? Printed out of nothing. It was conjured out of nothing. It was fucking counterfeit. All of it. All of that shit was fucking counterfeit. Just like today. All of it's counterfeit. It's all conjured from fucking nothing. It's fake. It's a fantasy. None of it's sustainable. That's why you're seeing the inflation you're seeing now. Because the math eventually, if you've seen me in the Math Catches Up video, which many thousands of you found me through, that's exactly what's happening. All of that math is catching up, and that's why you're seeing all the goddamn inflation you're seeing right now. You're seeing all of that starting to inflate. You're starting to see all of this money, this worthless, all these worthless dollars blowing around everywhere. You're seeing the prices of everything go to the point of stupid. We're over half the country now. People, right, can no longer really afford to even live in the country, in their own country, right? They can't even afford to do it. Why? Because the currency is worthless. And by the way, these are people that are working full-time plus in many cases. You've seen me talk about this on many occasions. I've covered this ad nauseum, but that's exactly what happened. When you've got people that are working in your country full-time plus, these are working people. They're doing stuff. These aren't homeless bums that are just, sleeping under a bridge and say, screw the system, I don't want to do anything. No, these are people who are working full-time. They're not able to survive in their own country. Yeah. That's a problem. And that's exactly where this is all gone. So now if you go back and watch that video, you'll see what he's talking about. The impossibility of what Ford asked. That's why he did it, though. He did that exact thing to get to try and get them to capitulate, because they wouldn't. And he knew they would never do that. He knew they'd never, give over all that actual physical gold to Ford and his family. He knew they would never do that. They have to print it out of nothing. And that is how this works. I hope that's well understood. And I hope more and more people will start to understand that when you see my channel pop up, for example, I'm constantly talking about hard money because of this. Nothing would make me happier than to see the entire US dollar fucking collapse all at one time. And teach this lesson. Actually, just drive that lesson home hard into every American. Just bury it into your cerebral cortex, so going forward, and you teach your kids, assuming you have kids, going forward, not to do stupid shit like this, because this is incredibly destructive. What's happened?